This is TWiT.
So how do you design a game that's great and fun? What should, I guess really in a way, this is a manifesto for the guys and gals and the companies who are designing today's top games to consider what they can do to make their games be socially responsible. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the book is trying to say at any point that talent is maybe the #1 ingredient. I mean, bringing the game talent. I mean, whenever I saw people coming from outside of gaming and trying to make those games that have social impact without involving talent, I mean, it's not going to work. It's like saying I'm going to make a documentary for my organization without hiring a director.
Right.
So talent is the first ingredient. I think the second one is the idea that gameplay needs to match the message or the cause or what you're trying to accomplish. Because many times people come to it and think that they're going to tell stories or dump content through a video game. And it's not about that. Video games are working differently than movies and books and theater shows in the sense that at the heart of the game there is gameplay. There is a set of game mechanics and actions that the players can take. And, you know, if it's leverage, it's actually very appealing because you're talking about verbs. You're talking about things that the player can do. You're showing the player through action rather than telling the player what is right. And rather than have a beginning, middle, and end, you're having something that engages him in a whole different, very proactive and very actionable manner, you know?
What we're really seeing is that this is a new medium that is about to become probably the dominant medium in our society. So it's important.
If not already.
If not already, yeah. You know, I wonder if the same process happened when television emerged and became, for many decades, the dominant medium in society. If people were thinking in terms of its impact and what it could do and what its and really, and most importantly, what our responsibilities are as creators.
Right, and you know, many times I'm doing those comparisons. You know, just like you spoke about Art Spiegelman that we cover in the introduction to the book. I can see a lot of similar dynamics with graphic novels and how they evolved. I can see, you know, similar things with TV and how it evolved, how it became more sophisticated, more nuanced. It can speak to so many different audiences. And you have hit shows like Sesame Street that is both engaging and educational, and everybody gets it, you know. And I can speak about the evolution of film, the evolution of documentaries from the 70s, or even looking at the Oscars of recent years and how many movies are there about social and political issues that go and take the biggest prizes and also get successful in the box office. Again, 50 years ago, you wouldn't have seen it. And this is just a natural process of media becoming more and more mature and diverse and having a broad appeal. Some of it has to do with business, but not only, I think. Some of it has to do, just like you said, with the responsibility of the creators.
Right. So on the one hand, people who are making games should consider what the game is teaching its players and what the game can bring to its players. And then on the other hand, and a lot of the book is dedicated to people in other businesses who are trying to teach, maybe thinking about, instead of making a documentary or making a video game. You talk about Sandra Day O'Connor, the retired Supreme Court Justice who came on The Daily Show and said that the American public knows the judges in American Idol. They could name every one of them, but they couldn't name all the judges on the Supreme Court. What are we going to do about it? She actually was instrumental. She spoke, I know, at your Games for Change conference in 2010. And how did that come about, this iCivics game that she ended up
Yeah, so this is one of the best cases, I think. It's kind of, it's not a coincidence that I chose it for the second chapter right after the story of Peacemaker, because you have this Supreme Court justice that retired at the age of 78 and created this whole platform for civic education. And if someone like that is going to choose video games as the number one priority in being the tool, the vehicle for the messages, it shows you something. And the reason is that she doesn't think that the civic education right now, the system, is doing a very good job. And, you know, as much as this is under the radar in terms of public perception, just like you said, you didn't know about it, 50% of US teachers right now in social studies are using the iCivics platform.
That's
and
awesome.
We're talking about 19 games, so not
That's
one,
awesome.
not two, but over time they made 19 games on different aspects of the government. And compare a curriculum that has 19 games to a boring lesson or a textbook, right?
Well, and I think there's a whole generation of people, probably most of the people watching this show, who, if I mention Oregon Trail, go, oh yeah. They probably know more about the Oregon Trail than almost anything else, because when they were in school, they played a great game. It was the early days of video gaming. You know, you have died. You and your party have died, and we all remember that very well.
Yeah.
It was a little after my time, but everybody I talked to, that game is very much in their mind, and so this is a great opportunity to reach kids.
Absolutely, and you know, the book. I just want to mention that, you know, we're talking a lot about awareness and education, but what the book shows is that games are now being explored and being developed in science or in medicine to do different things. So if the documentary model is about, you know, I want you to understand something, or I want you to pay attention to some topic, in the science field and the medical games, sometimes are about changing your behavior.
Yeah.
Changing habits, or even changing your brain structure. You know, there's a whole new genre of neurogaming that are about training your brain to do other things than it used to.
Tell me about Half the Sky.
Half the Sky is a project that was one of the bigger games that I was involved with through Games for Change, with Nicholas Kristof and Cheryl Woodan. Nicholas Kristof and Cheryl Woodan are both Pulitzer Prize winning authors. They wrote a book, After Sky. There was a documentary as well, and it's all about women empowerment and how integrating women in you know, all over the world, but mainly in the third world, could make a huge difference economically and in the society. And it's talking about a lot of the areas where women are not only not integrated, but they're basically oppressed. With violence, with sex trafficking, with health issues. And what the game was trying to say is, you can help. You know, we'll make a Facebook game where you can understand the issues, but you can also donate money in real time. And the game was running for 3 years, and you could make actual donations to causes. So let's say that you saw, you know, during the game, you encountered microloans, and then you could actually donate to an organization that does it in reality.
That is really an interesting connection between the game and then the real world that I would love to see more of that.
Yeah, and the game raised more than $500,000,
wow.
You know, to causes. And the beauty is that we could say exactly how many surgeries, for example, or how many books were donated as a result of that donation. Agree with you. I mean, it's not easy. It took a lot of coordination between the virtual and the real world to make it happen. But I hope that those models are going to become easier and more frequent in the coming years.